It's a weekday, but it's good to see many of you here for these festivities of Lord Balaram. As you all know, Lord Balaram is none other than the elder brother of Krishna, and we'll be hearing more very shortly about the glories of Balaram, the reason for his appearance, and how we should be celebrating this auspicious event. This month we don't just have one festival, we have multiple festivities. Next Friday, that is the August 19th, is also the appearance day of Sri Krishna, also known as Krishna Janmashtami. So it's a Friday, and we will be having events starting from 6 p.m. onwards, all the way up until midnight. We have a special yearly midnight darshan at 12 o'clock, which happens right at the temple. Last year we were fortunate to have the temples open after COVID, so this year again we're looking forward to having a regular celebration on Friday, that is next Friday, August 19th. And of course August 20th, which is Saturday, is the celebration of our beloved founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. We will be having a program from morning to about afternoon, 12 p.m. again. And we have a special Yas Puja offering book, which is usually compiled by various devotees in the community. So if you want to make your offering, we encourage you to grab yourself a copy of the offering template, which will be part of the book, and it is available in the front desk. So before you leave, you're most welcome to grab a copy of it for yourself. And then this Sunday, you will see a box to submit your offering. If you can put it in that, we will compile it part of the yearly booklet, which will be offered to Srila Prabhupada on his appearance Saturday. And of course, as you can see here, we have a beloved, nice little altar of Sri Krishna Balaram, decorated by our devotees in a very, despite time constraint, they put this together. So if you didn't get a chance to take darshan, we encourage you to come by after the class, and you can take darshan of Sri Krishna Balaram. So without further ado, we will get started with today's program. We are going to be having a spiritual discourse presented by His Grace Rubanuga Prabhu. Yes, for sure. Rubanuga Prabhu is not someone new to us. He's been serving in our community for many, many years, be it as a pujari. He also is mentor for many devotees, facilitates a lot of seminars and teachings from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, not just in Toronto, across Canada, through various communities. And today we are very happy to have him here with us again to speak on the glories of Sri Balaram. So please join me in welcoming Rubanuga Prabhu, giving a big round of applause.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the program, wonderful auspicious occasion of the appearance of Lord Balaram. So today we will talk about the identity and the tattva of Lord Balaram. We'll talk about how he serves Lord Krishna. We'll talk about the meaning of his name and various names that he has. And if time permitting, some pastimes. So before we do that, once again welcome to you all, and we'll start with invocation prayers, which glorifies the land of Vrindavan, and then we'll get into the discourse. So please join me. Oh, thank you. Jai Radha.
लीला प्रविष्टो श्रीपाद परमहंस शिष्य 108 श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन पौंडराचार्य विभूति पौंडराचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय लीला प्रविष्टो ओम श्रीपाद परमहंस शिष्य 108 श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय। राधा कृष्ण मिलित तनु विक्रम विग्रह श्री गौर सुंदर की जय। श्री राधा श्री गोपीनाथ की जय। श्री बलराम जी की जय। श्री जगन्नाथ श्री बलदेव श्रीमती सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। भक्ति विघ्न विनाशकारी नृसिंहदेव की जय। प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द Son. All glories to the Son. All glories to the Son. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Balaram. Namo Vishpadaya Krishna Krishnaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nami. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Vicharini. Nirvishesha Srimati Pashya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Adyanti Mirandasya Dhyana Janshalakhya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः गदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगं रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Hare Krishna. Shri Balaram ji ki jai. Hare Bol. Thank you very much again. So let's start talking about who is Lord Balaram first. So Lord Balaram and Krishna, they are famously known as two brothers, but there's no difference between them. All the qualities, their form is identical. There are, however, two major differences. One is very obvious. Those of you who can see this altar, you see Jagannath, that's Krishna, you see Subhadra in the middle, and you see Balaram. And the difference is very obvious, that's in the color. Lord Krishna's color is dark, some say blue, some say black, and Lord Balaram's color is milky white. Sometimes compared with the new clouds, which are white in color, before the monsoon season. So that's one difference. The second difference is in the mood. Krishna's mood is, I am God. Surrender to me. I am God. And it goes on many chapters in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which says, I am God. And you should serve me. Offer me obeisances. Serve me. Constantly think of me. Basically, it's saying he is God. But Lord Balaram is non-different. And actually, I should point out also that if you can imagine a time, it's not true, but if you can imagine a time, there was only Krishna, nobody else. And he said, well, I am the supreme enjoyer. But how do I enjoy by myself? So therefore he expands. So from his right hand, a personality appears, whom we know as Mother Radharani. And you can see, from left hand, left side, Mother Radharani appears. And you can see her in the middle altar, the female form of Krishna, that's Radharani. And from his right side appears Lord Balaram, who is, as I said before, identical except in two things. One is the color we talked about, and second different we'll talk about in a minute. So you would think that he's non-different, same as Krishna, and he's also God. Well, he is. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead in the mood of a servant. So we call Lord Balaram Servitor God, servant God. And he finds many, many ways that we'll talk about in a second of serving Lord Krishna. So actually, Srimad Bhagavatam in a bit, little bit, but Chaitanya Charitamrita in great detail talks about 5 mellows in which one can serve Krishna. Those mellows in Hindi called rasa, are Shanturas, which is the mode of neutrality, Dasiras, which is the mode of servitorship, Sakhiras, which is the friendship, Vatsalya, which is the parenthood, and Madhurya, which is the conjugal relationship. And Lord Balaram actually serves Krishna in all those 5 modes. I'm going to explain that in a second. I'll start with, and before I start with that, I also want to point out that the Supreme Personality of God and Lord Balaram is also the origin or the source of all other Supreme Personalities of Godhead. So for example, we know Vishnu, we know Narayan, we know Lord Ram, Nrsimhadev, Matsya Avatar, Kurma Avatar, so many different incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are all Supreme Personalities of Godhead. But Lord Balaram is the source of all those incarnations. Similarly, Lord Balaram is also the source of both the spiritual world and the material world. So it all begins with Lord Balaram. Now let's go into the 5 mellows that I was talking about. So let's start with the first one, Shanturas, or the mode of neutrality, the mellow of neutrality. Neutrality basically means there is no active service. Service is there, but it's not active service. So for example, Lord Balaram serves Krishna as his bed, as his shoes, as his umbrella, as his pillow, as his clothes, as his ornaments, as his umbrella, I think I already said that. as his house, and so on and so forth. So he's serving Krishna in all those ways. He also serves Krishna as cows, and as we know, Krishna loves cows and cows love Krishna. There's a famous story about a place called Terkadam, which is a place between Yavat, where Radharani was living after marriage, and Nandagram, where Krishna was living after leaving Vrindavan. And this Terkadam is right in the middle of it, where Krishna will get together with his friends. In the evening, he will call all his cows. There were maybe 2 million cows. 900,000 of them belonged to Krishna himself. Others belonged to other members of the cow community. They all had names, every one of them. And Krishna would use his cell phone to call his cows. I'm sure some of you can guess what his cell phone looked like. Flute, exactly right. Just, with 7 numbers, 7 holes. And he would call each one of them, Dhavali, Shamla, and so on and so forth. They all come running. They all collect in one place, millions of them. Krishna will come down from the kadam tree that he was standing on when he was playing his flute to call them, and he will hug each and every one of them. And those of you who actually see the real cow, they have this flesh hanging from their neck. They love to be tickled in that part of their body. So Krishna would hug them by the neck and tickle that part, and would love it. But that's all Balaram. Serving Krishna in that way. And of course offering milk and all that. So that's Balaram serving Krishna in the mood of neutrality or shantaras. Dasiras. So once again, when Krishna is playing with his friends, Balaram would be with him. And Krishna would sometimes get tired because they're playing all day and would want to lie down. So Balaram would make arrangements for his bed made of flowers and dried leaves, etc. Krishna would lie down and Balaram would offer his thigh for Krishna to put his head on. So Krishna will be resting his head on the thigh of Balaram. And Balaram will instruct different friends, or you massage the left foot, you massage the right foot, you massage above the knee, you massage below the knee, so on and so forth. You fan, you sing like this, and so on and so forth. Balaram will make all those arrangements for serving Krishna as he's taking rest. Then move on further in the parental mood. Now it is said that Lord Balaram was only 1 year older. There are different estimates given in different places. Let's go with 1 year. And however, even though only 1 year older, he had the mood of a parent. And because he was very strong in body, Mother Yashoda would say, Balaram, you are older and you are stronger. Krishna is weak and very naughty. He will go out of his way to get into trouble. And it is your job to protect him when he is in trouble. And Balaram took it very seriously. Very, very seriously. Krishna also respected Balaram so much that his mother may be calling him and Krishna would ignore. But if Balaram called, Krishna would not do. He will go and do whatever Balaram says. Later on also we have examples of where in Balaram's eyes Krishna made a mistake and Balaram would chastise Krishna in front of people. So for example, when Lord Krishna, and I don't have to get into the details of this pastime, but let's mention it, when Krishna kidnapped Mother Rukmini, clearly the father of Rukmini and his precious brother Rukmini was very, very upset. And all these other kids were there, they were attacking Krishna, they were fighting. Krishna of course defeated all of them and continued his chariot. But Rukmini, the brother of Krishna, Rukmini, the brother of Rukmini, continued to chase and they had a fight. And finally Krishna defeated him. But not only defeated him because Rukmini was being very insulting, he cut off with his sword half the hair on his head, half the beard, kind of disfigured him and tied him with a rope. And that is the time when Lord Balaram arrived, because he had heard the fight was going to happen, so he left Dwarka. So it was at this time that he caught up. And he saw Rukmini being tied up like an animal, and half the hair shaved, and half the beard shaved, half the mustache gone. So he looked at Krishna. Krishna, you should not do that. So now this is Supreme Personality of Godhead, chastising Supreme Personality of Godhead, just so you know. And he's saying, Krishna, you shouldn't have done that. He's our relative now. That's your brother, no. He's your wife's brother. And we don't insult our brothers like that. They're supposed to be respected. Release him now. And Krishna said, okay, he released him. But point being that Balaram actually felt like a parent to Krishna, and Krishna respected him. Although one time, but Balaram got in trouble. Big trouble because he was trying to save Krishna. He was reacting to Krishna being bound with a rope. By whom? Mother Yashoda. Yes, that's the famous Damodar Leela, where Krishna has stolen butter, and Mother Yashoda is very angry. She chases him with a stick in her hand, finally catches him, and binds him with the rope. As you know, after that, she went home, and Lord Krishna crawled with the mortar that he was tied to, dragging behind him, between two trees, Yamlani trees. These were actually demigods who had been cursed by Narad Muni. And he got the mortar, stuck between the two trees, dragged it, yanked it again, and the two trees fell down. So Krishna was in the middle, and these huge trees fell right around him. Big noise. At that time, Nanda Maharaj, Balaram, Rohini, they were all coming back to the house of one of the brothers of Nanda Maharaj by the name of Upananda. And they heard this sound. So they thought there must be a demon creating disturbance. So they came running. And they saw Krishna sitting there, tied to this mortar, two big, huge trees falling there. And they asked the little boys over there, what happened? Who was the demon who came? What did they do? And they said, no, there was no demon. There was no demon. Mother Yashoda tied him up. He dragged himself on the mortar between the two trees. He yanked the rope. The trees fell down. Two personalities came out. They offered their prayers. They circumambulated and they left. It sounds like a story, doesn't it? So that's what Nanda Maharaj thought. These boys are telling tall stories. I don't believe you. Picked him up, kind of, dusted him off, whatever dust there was, and kissed him and, hugged him and said, so who tied him up? And the boy said, Mother Yashoda did. So Nanda Maharaj was very angry, but he knew better than yell at his wife. So he went to the office and with Krishna. But Balaram, being the quote-unquote parent, couldn't tolerate that. He said, I don't care if it was Mother Yashoda, I'm going to let her have it today. So he goes running to Mother Yashoda's room, very angry, and said, Mother, who tied Krishna? Now, Mother Yashoda did not like his mood, did not like the way he spoke to her. So she said, it was me. What's that to you? And he said, what do you mean, what's that to me? You should not tie him. He said, well, he's my son, I can do that. And he said, you don't know who he is. Now she's really angry. So she says, so who do you think he is? He said, he's God. He's Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Mother Yashoda doesn't buy that. He's my lalla, like my little baby. She says, oh yeah? And who are you? Now Balaram said, what should I say? So she said, I better tell the truth. She says, I am God too. And Yashoda looks at him and laughs and says, you're God? He's God? Every God has been born in my house. Get out of here before I tie you also down. And he ran. He was so scared he ran away from there. His mother will tie me down. So, sometimes being a parent, could or would get him in trouble. Anyway, so that was his parental mode in which he was served. Then he said, okay, wait a minute. Now it's his conjugal mode. He's a man. What's going on here? So he actually expands himself into a female form, very famous, a younger sister of Radharani, by the name of Ananga Manjari. That's not Balaram. Now, I don't know how many of you know, these Manjaris were young girls, 9, 10, 11-year-olds. They had one job, to facilitate the pastimes between Radharani and Krishna. So for example, they'll prepare an orchard, a kunja, put a flower bed there, decorate with flowers and other things and cook stuff, bring it, put it there, basically facilitate these pastimes. And they were very close, intimate friends of Radha and Krishna. So this was the role that Lord Balaram was playing as the younger sister of Radha, and then serving Krishna in the conjugal mode. So this is how Lord Balaram keeps that mood of serving in every way he can. Now, Lord Balaram also expands as what we know as Anantashesh. Anybody knows the form of Anantashesh?
Snakes.
The big snake, correct. Now, he has two roles. One is to hold all the universes in the material world. How many are there? Billions. Yeah, infinite. Let's just say billions, so I can actually relate to that. Billions of them. They all rest on the millions of hoods of Sheshna. And they look like mustard seeds. That's how huge Anantashesh is. So all these millions of universes are resting on the heads of Anantashesh, looking like, each one looking like mustard seeds. He's holding them, and what's he doing as he's holding them? He's chanting the glories of Lord Krishna. Since time immemorial, it's not done yet, it will never be done, because the glories, the qualities of Krishna are unlimited. Krishna says, even I don't know the limit of my glories. I don't know the limit of my qualities. So Anantashesh can go on. But there's another point that I want to make. You've seen people chanting. So Anantashesh is chanting and singing. And you see people singing, chanting, what are they doing? They're playing the harmonium. What's their head doing? Hare Krishna, going on. The head is moving. Now can you imagine Anantashesh moving his head like that? By chanting, what will happen? All this mustard seeds will fall down. Right? There will be no stability. You will have earthquakes like you have never seen. So Anantashesh is very conscious of his role, and even though he's in great mood of ecstasy, chanting the glories of Krishna is keeping his head stationary. Every once in a while, he does move it, and we have the earthquakes. That's the Vedic version of the earthquakes. So he's serving as that. Then he says, is there anything left? He says, serve in all the 5 moods, including the expansion into the material world, spiritual world, and all the things that I just described. And if there's anything else, I'll take that too. Now, there's a word in Sanskrit called shesh. In English, it's called remainder. Now, anybody, math student, one of you, if you divide 7 by 3, what's the remainder? Very good. Who's that? All right, man. Yeah. All right. Give him a clap. Who knows? So when you've done everything, whatever is left, Lord Balaram says, I'll do that service also. Hence the name Shesh. It's known as Anantashesh. So whatever services are left after he's done everything, that's mine too. So it's known as Anantashesh. The point being, Lord Balaram is serving Krishna in every which way we can imagine, or he can imagine. And if there's anything left, he's doing that as well. So what's the point? The point is, he's being an acharya. What's an acharya? Acharya is one who teaches by example. So Lord Balaram is teaching us by example. Hence, is known as the Guru Tattva. Tattva means the truth or the essence. Guru means the spiritual master. So his essence is being a spiritual master, but one who teaches by example. Hence Acharya. So we when we practice Srila Prabhupada, you said Iskcon founder Acharya. So founder means the one who established it, but Acharya means he taught us all by his example. What were some of the things that he did? He risked his life. He risked a very comfortable, wonderful situation he was in Vrindavan. Serving Radha Damodarji very nicely, very safe environment, and all the Vedas say, do not leave Vrindavan. Leave your body in Vrindavan. But Prabhupada left everything. Risked his life, risked his position, risked his destination after leaving the body for for the sake of the instruction of his spiritual master, who said, "My dear boy, go to the West and preach in English." That was his first instruction from his spiritual master. Go to the West, preach in English. And Prabhupada risked his life, did everything for following the instructions of his spiritual master. So he left us an example, he taught us by example. Our only duty is to follow the instructions of our spiritual master. So Balaram is an acharya. Now, Balaram, just going back again, when Lord Balaram appeared and Lord Krishna appeared, there was a name-giving ceremony. Even today is the custom, but in those days it was a big festival. However, in the case of Krishna and Balaram, because of the situation with Kansa, they did a private ceremony with a personality by the name of Garbhuni. And Garbhuni looked at Lord Balaram and he said, "You are very strong and you will be the cause of pleasure, spiritual pleasure for everyone." Therefore, Bal meaning strength, Ram meaning giving pleasure, and actually having pleasure also. Therefore, your name is going to be Balaram. So that's the first name he was given. He was also given another name called Sankarshan. Sankarshan consists of two words. Sam, which is short for Samyak, which means complete. Karshan or Akarshan, which is short for Akarshan, which means attraction. So Sankarshan means complete attraction. What is that? How does it relate? So basically, when Mother Devaki, I'm sure most of you know that they were in prison when the 8 children of Devaki were born in the prison of Kansa. So when Mother Devaki was in her 7th pregnancy, 6 had been killed by Kansa already. 7th pregnancy, when she was 3 months pregnant, Krishna instructed his eternal potency known as Yogamaya to attract the baby in the womb, which is Lord Balaram, away from the womb of Devaki and put it in the womb of Mother Rohini, another wife of Vasudeva, who was living with Nanda Maharaj at that time in Gokul. So that attraction from attracting the baby from the womb of Mother Devaki into the womb of Mother Rohini gave him the name Sankarshan. That's one reason. Another reason is that Lord Balaram became the cause of that close relationship between the family of Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj. They were step cousins to start with, and they were very good friends, but this kind of cemented the relationship. So hence another reason we call Sankarshan. So now, Lord Sankarshan or Lord Balaram, he's not just the older brother of Krishna. They are eternally there. As I said, he's the first expansion of Lord Krishna. So they appear, whenever Krishna appears, Lord Balaram appears with him. So just before Krishna appeared as Krishna in the age of Dwapar, the previous incarnation as, before Krishna, Ram, not Ram. Lord Balaram appeared as Lakshmana. Now, as Lakshmana also, he carried the mode of serving Krishna, which is now Lord Ram. So, right from the childhood, Lord Lakshmana served Lord Ram in every which way, bringing his shoes, cleaning his clothes, bringing his food to him, accompanying him, learning with him, the forest serving him, every which way you can imagine, Lord Lakshmana being serving Lord Ram. To the point when Lord Ram got married to Sita Maharani, she came, and what is a wife's right? A wife's right is to serve her husband. Right? Not in the modern context, but in the Vedic context. And so Sita started to serve Lord Ram. She found that every time she started to do something, it had already been done by Lakshmana. She started to cook, Lakshmana had already cooked. She had served, Lakshmana had already served. She had picked his clothes out, Lakshmana had already done that. She found there's nothing for her to do. But Lakshman is doing everything. So she started getting upset. Now this is a sensitive situation. How do you complain to your husband about his brother? But she said, enough is enough, I got to tell him. So in a very nice, gentle, diplomatic way, with maybe a few tears in her eyes, she told her husband, I want to serve you. But your brother doesn't let me serve because he does service before I even think about starting something, he's done it. So do something. Now this is a dilemma for Lord Ram. How do you tell your brother, I want to please my wife, don't do what you're doing, let her do it. That's another serious dilemma. So Lord Ram said, the Supreme Personality of God, and He knows how to solve problems. Right? He says, when you don't know how to solve a problem, what do? You go to your spiritual master. It's the best source of all solutions to all problems. So they go, Lord Ram, Mother Sita, Lakshman, they go to Vasishtha Muni, who is their spiritual master. Ram and Sita explain the problem, Lakshman explains his side, and Vasishtha Muni says, they had weird those days. So he went a few times like that. I said, here's the solution. Lakshman, you're the brother. You do all the service outside the palace. Sita, you're the wife, you're placed in the palace, you do all the service in the palace. And that's the decision. So from then on, all the in-house services by Mother Sita, all the outside the house services by Mother Lakshman. But the point again being that Lakshman was so much into serving Krishna, but Lord Ram this time, that this could help him. So as time goes, Lord Ram is given the exile for 14 years in the forest. And Mother Sita comes and says, I'm coming with you. And Lord Ram says, well, you're not the one who's ordered to go. You don't have to come. There's nothing that says you have to go. You stay here in comfort. I'll go and come back in 14 years. He says, no, I promise to be with you all the time. I'm coming. So after some argument, Lord Ram said, okay. And then came Lakshman. Bhaiya is called with him. Bhaiya, I'm coming too. And he says, no, you're not. No, you've not been asked to do, and you're one of the 4 princes, and you be here and take care of your parents and on and on. He said, no, I'm coming. But again, another discussion. And finally, he convinced him. So Ram, Lakshman, and Sita, they left for the forest. Now these are princes. Imagine, princess and princess, used to all the comforts of life. Now they're walking in the forest bare feet. And in those days, the forests were not anything like forests today. They were much more dense and much more dangerous. But they're walking. What's Lakshman doing? He's cleaning the path as Ram and Sita walk. He wants to make sure there's no thorns on the way, there's no pebbles on the way, there's no stones on the way, there's nothing that would hurt the feet of Lord Ram and Sita. At night, he'll make a hut for them, make a bed for them, and they will sleep, and he will stand there on guard. For 14 years, they were away in the forest. Not one night did Lakshman sleep. It's my duty to guard my mother and my sister-in-law. So 14 years, they stayed like that. Then, after the war with Ravan, it was time to come back. So Sita was asked to come from where she was staying in Ashok Vatika, which was the place of Ravan, to come on a palanquin to a particular spot. And Ram was at a distance watching, and he told Lakshman, go tell Sita to get off the palanquin. And Lakshman says, why? What happened? He said, no, just go and do it. So the younger brother, in those days, does not argue with the older brother. So he goes and tells Mother Sita, please, my dear mother, Lord Ram has asked you to get off and walk. So she says, no problem. She gets out, she starts walking. Lakshman comes back. And Ram says, okay, go make a fire, like a pyre. I said, for what? He said, don't ask questions, just do it. So he goes and makes a fire. Lord Ram says, Sita, walk through the fire. You know the whole story, so I'm not going to go into details. And Lakshman says, what are you doing? What are you doing? But he can't say anything. So Mother Sita walks to the fire, you know the story, and everything's fine. They come home. Now they're living happily, and then some stupid washerman makes a nasty comment about her being for 1 year with another man and questioning her character and all that. Lord Ram heard that. I said, I cannot have that. So he called Lakshman again. That I want you to take Sita to the forest and leave her at the hermitage of Valmiki Muni. Now this is too much for Lakshman. Too much. I can't do this. But I can't say no. So he takes Mother Sita on the chariot, and all the way he's crying, just crying, not saying a word. Sita keeps asking, my dear brother, why are you crying? He won't say anything. Finally they reach the hermitage of Valmiki Muni, and he says, my dear mother, I've been instructed to go out with you. And he's crying like anything. So she says, no problem. She gets off, and he comes back, and he vows to himself, never again. So when they wrap up their pastimes, they go back to Vrindavan. Lord Balaram visits Lord Krishna. He says, my Lord, I have one request of you. I said, of course, what is it? He says, next time we appear, may I please appear as your older brother. Thinking older brother can tell younger brother what to do. Well, in theory that is true. But in applying practice with Krishna, it doesn't quite work all the time. And Lord Balaram found out many times when Krishna was just not listen to him, but generally speaking, very obedient. But when it came time for Krishna to make certain decisions, for example, Lord Balaram wanted Subhadra, the middle personality, the sister of Balaram and Krishna. He wanted her to get married to Duryodhana. He was a bad dude. But he wanted her to marry. Krishna said, she's marrying my friend Arjuna. And Balaram was very upset, but Krishna told Arjuna to kidnap his sister, Subhadra, without telling Balaram. So he did, and Balaram found out that Krishna was involved in that, and he was very angry. But Krishna, he talked about his anger, and that was the end of it. The point again being, Lord Balaram was very happy serving Krishna every which we can. Now, two final stories, getting close to the time. One is, when the battle of Kurukshetra started, Lord Balaram said, I don't want any part of it. And he went on a pilgrimage. And I don't want to take sides, he said. And he reached a place called Naimisharanya, where actually the Bhagavatam as we know it was about to be recited by a personality called Harshan Sut. There were 80,000 sages sitting there ready to listen to this person. Lord Balaram walked in, everybody stood up, offered their obeisances, except this person who was sitting on the Vyasasana, Harshan Sut, he kept sitting. Lord Balaram looked at him and he sensed a sense of being puffed up of his position. He did not appreciate it. He took a little grass, piece of grass, pusha grass, and he took like that, he threw it like that. It was a little dart, hit him, and he left his body right away. And then the story goes further about how Lord Balaram, upon his son, this person who died, his son on the sea, is known as the Sutta Goswami. We all know the story about Balaram. The point I'm trying to make is that Balaram, when Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya, he appeared as Lord Nityananda. His very famous bhajan by Dr. Das Thakur, who says, Shachinandan Jai, sorry, Bajendra Nandan Jai, Shachi Sut Bhoy say, Balaram and Nitai. So the son of Nanda Maharaj became Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram became Lord Nityananda. So, as Balaram is using the grass to kill this person, as Nityananda, what is he doing? He's putting that grass between his teeth, which is a sign of humility, and going door to door to door to door, begging people to chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. Some people insult him. Some people say you are a thief, or you are a, what's the person? Then look out for the thieves, or check out our place, and he'll come at night and rob our place. Some people actually kick him. But he falls down at their feet, and he says, do whatever you want, but chant Hare Krishna. And they can't chant Hare Krishna, chant Lord Chaitanya's name. Bhaj Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Laha Gauranga, Namari. He says, Bhaj Gauranga. Please chant Krishna's name, Lord Chaitanya's name. Lord Chaitanya is not different from Krishna. Chant his name. Talk about him. Internalize his name. Just think about him. And anybody who takes Lord Chaitanya's name is like my life soul, life here, my soul. So please, I beg all of you. So that Lord Balaram was happy to kill this person and many other demons, Instead of killing the demons, was killing the demoniac personality of mentality of all these people who refused to chant. The point again being, was following the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, which is Lord Krishna. So again, as Balaram was Nityananda, Krishna was Chaitanya, Chaitanya was saying, go door to door in a very humble mood, tell people to chant. So don't kill the mentality. Even to the point where the guy in Madhai, the very famous dacoits, who had done every kind of sin you can imagine. It is said, probably jokingly, but it is said that they would go to a person called Chitragupta, who was the responsibility for keeping tabs on all your sinful activities and all your good and pious activities. Let's check the manual, see if there's any kind of sin they have not done, and then go and do that sin. It is said that the servants who were writing the activities of these people could not keep up with the pace at which they were committing sinful activities. So these people, when they saw Nityananda saw them, he decided that I need to deliver these people. One of them actually hit Lord Nityananda on the head and stopped bleeding. And he said, no, I have to give mercy. Lord Chaitanya came running when he heard that this had happened, and he asked for Sudarshan Chakra to come and kill these people. Lord Nityananda said, no, my Lord, not this time. This time we are here to kill their mentality, not them. My point is, according to the mood of the Lord, Lord Balaram changed his mood completely. No more killing, just killing the mentality, demonic mentality of the people, because that is what his Lord wants. So, yeah. Final point, there are two weapons that he does carry, Lord Balaram. What are the two weapons? Plow and the mushal or the club. Right? Plow has a very special purpose. In mundane world, what does a plow do? Plow tills the dry land, which is full of weeds and pebbles and stones and all those kind of things, and it clears all those pebbles, all those weeds away from the land. So it becomes fertile land. And when you sow a seed, it sprouts properly. So Lord Balaram, figuratively speaking, as the Guru or spiritual master that we talked about, he plows our infertile heart, which is full of weeds. Weeds in the form of anarthas, the unwanted material desires. So like lust, greed, anger, illusion, etc. He plows the heart, makes it soft, so that the seed of the holy name can reside there, and as you water it with the chanting of the holy name, it can grow. That is the role that Lord Balaram plays. So basically, as Lord Balaram, he paves the way for us living entities to Krishna. And as the Guru, the representative of Balaram, he shows us the way to Krishna. So that's the way. Balaram, as Balaram is plowing the way, as spiritual master is showing the way to Krishna. So all the spiritual masters are representatives of Lord Balaram, and it becomes our role to follow the example of Lord Balaram, to follow the instructions of our spiritual master, our Lord. So today, on this auspicious occasion of the appearance of Lord Balaram, let us offer a couple of prayers. One is this: pray to Lord Balaram to kindly plow this dry, barren land we call it our heart, which is full of weeds, full of anarthas, unwanted material desires, and remove those unwanted material desires, so that the holy name of the Lord can find a place, can rest, sit, and grow in, so that the creeper of our devotional service can grow, move all the way, penetrating the layer of the universe, material universes, through the Vaikuntha Lokas, all the way to Golok Vrindavan, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because once that happens, we will never fall down and become truly lotus. That's one prayer. The second prayer is that, my dear Lord Balaram, you are very merciful. Please show mercy to this unintelligent fool who's so much materially attached, to please take away all those attachments and pull us by the ear, throw us in the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna and say, my dear Lord Krishna, this is a useless, hopeless, living entity, but be merciful upon me. I recommend. So my dear Lord, please recommend me to Lord Krishna despite all the lack of my qualifications. So he may give me shelter. Thank you, my dear Lord Balaram. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Do you have any questions, sir?
Okay. I can take one quick question, Uncle. It may be quicker, there's no question. Oh, sorry, you have to go ahead.
It is told that
I'll repeat the question, don't worry.
please let us know in which order who came first.
The question is asking is that he has heard 4 names. Sankarshan, Vasudev, Vasudev, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And he's asking in what order do they appear, right? That's the question. So the question clear, bro? Okay. So let me go back a little bit to the fundamentals. Here's how it works.
Now Krishna expands to
Not Balaram. So first Krishna, second Balaram. Balaram then expands to Narayana. So third Narayana. Narayana then expands to what we call 4 quadruple expansions. And that is 4 personalities. Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. These are the 4 personalities who appeared in Dwarka. So Vasudeva is Vasudeva Krishna. Sankarshan is not Balaram. So Balaram comes first and then Vasudeva Krishna. Vasudeva Krishna's son is Pradyumna. And Pradyumna's son is Aniruddha. So that's the order it was there. I just want to go a little bit further. That's that's Sankarshan. Expands again into another Narayana. So there's 2 Narayans. That second Narayana expands into second set of quadruple expansions. It is second Sankarshan called Mahasankarshan. That Mahasankarshan expands into Mahavishnu, who glances at the Maya and the material worlds are produced as he breathes out. He expands into Navagriha Vishnu from the lotus navel of his flower. Lotus flower comes out, Brahma is sitting there. And then that Vishnu expands as Shivodaksha Vishnu, which is the Vishnu we know, who expands to Paramatma. It's very complicated, don't worry about it. Point is, it just goes on and on and on, but that's the sequence. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Rupanuga Prabhu, for sharing so many pastime stories on this occasion of Balaram Jayanti. Let's do a bigger round of applause once more for Rupanuga Prabhu. So before we conclude, a couple of quick announcements. As I mentioned earlier, this month we have 2 other festivals. Janmashtami scheduled to happen on the 19th of August, which is next Friday, and on the 20th of August we will be having the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada, Vyas Puja. So everyone in this hall, you're encouraged to take the offering, the offering page where you can write or print if you like, and bring it back either this Sunday or before the festivities of Vyas Puja. So you can write your offering, and you can find more information in case you don't know what to write on the offering in our website, torontokrishna.com. And you will find some pointers which will help you to compose your offering on this occasion of Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja. So that's happening next weekend, Friday and Saturday. And this weekend we have a special guest speaker for our Sunday Feast program. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is going to be here. So yes, he'll be there for our Sunday program as always, starting from 6:30 p.m. Additionally, Scarborough is also celebrating their, I believe, the 10th or 11th annual Rath Yatra festivities this Saturday, happening at Milliken's Park. So everyone is welcome to attend and participate in Scarborough's Rath Yatra. And one last announcement, we have a special retreat happening on the weekend of September 9th. However, this retreat is exclusively for men. It's called a Mantra retreat. His Holiness Bhaktimarg Swami is part of the organizing team committee. So I believe they're back this year in person after the last 2 years virtual celebrations. So this retreat is happening at New Vrindavan, which is at West Virginia. So if you are interested to register, feel free to come by the front desk. We'll be able to share more information. Again, this is a retreat happening on September 9th, or Saturday and Sunday, of course, I believe Friday as well. So for more information, feel free to come by the front desk. So that concludes our program for today. Wishing you all a very happy Balaram Jayanti. If you didn't get darshan of the beloved deities of Shri Krishna Balaram, please come by. And we will be serving takeout prasadam, as we've always been doing in the last few weeks or months. So feel free to collect your prasadam, and we hope to see you again this Sunday. Hare Krishna.